How many notebooks is too many notebooks?
Welcome to No Sheen at Home, where I share my love of gardening, journaling, and home improvement projects. Please subscribe, give this video a like, and don't forget to hit the notification bell.
So we're like a week and a half into July, and I figured it's time for me to do like a mid-year Techo Kaigi just to sort of show you guys the notebooks that I've actually ended up accumulating this year. It's a little bit more than I thought I was going to have for the year. It is, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 notebooks that I have been using, not every day, but on a fairly regular basis. And so I just wanted to do a little walkthrough of what I'm using them for. So I have 3 traveler's notebooks right now. I think I will start by showing you my traveler's notebooks. I will start with this one, which is my most recent purchase. This is the passport size Travelers Company notebook in brown. And I really, really like it. And I did get the pen loop for it. And I got this pen. It's just a ballpoint pen from Otto that I just keep on here. This is a notebook that I just throw in my purse just for taking random notes, jotting down things, grocery list, really just anything. It's just an all-purpose notebook that's really nice because it is like very compact and portable. And so I can just take it with me anywhere. And it's just nice to have just a little notebook to jot things down. Like people carry notepads, or I think people use their notes app on their phone. This is my version of that. This is like my notes app. I just prefer to write things down in a notebook. I made a little cover sheet for it, 2024 notes. This is just some scrapbook paper I glued on. This is a little sticker. These are labels I made with my label maker, and I decorated the back of it as well. And this is the lightweight paper insert. So there's a lot of paper in here, and it's very light. I think this is the original Tomoa River paper. So just to give you an example of what I do in here, like I was just taking notes about my mid-year Techo Kaigi, like all the notebooks I have, I listed out just to remind myself what I have before I film this video. So things like that. I can't really show you everything that's in here because some of it is kind of personal, but you get the idea. This is just like a scratch pad where I write things down, and I'm really enjoying it because it is so small and cute. And I have the pen right here with it so I don't lose it, and I can just throw it in my purse. So that's what that is. Then I have another passport size Travelers Company notebook in the navy, in the blue, and the leather is so different between the blue and the brown. So if you've never bought like a Travelers Company notebook, you might not know this, but the leathers really have different textures. This is has like a more of a grainy texture. This is completely smooth. It just feels so completely different. And in fact, this one, I like to occasionally put like some leather moisturizer on it because it has a tendency to get kind of dry. Whereas with this one, I really don't need to do that. But I will say with the blue, the color kind of comes off a little bit. And I haven't had that issue with this one. Anyway, they're just very different. So this one, I actually do have a Travelers Company brass tag on it that I got from Yoseka Stationery. And yeah, no pen loop on this one, but this is my therapy notes. I actually have a craft folder in here. What's this? This is just from the brass tag. I just saved the little thing from my brass tag in here. It says therapy sessions. Again, I just decorated the cover, decorated the back, and I'm really not going to show you what's in here because it is personal, but maybe I can show you the cover page. yeah, therapy sessions, did a little decorating there. And I just write down, again, it's the same insert, the lightweight paper insert. So I just write down notes from my weekly therapy sessions just to help me remember what we talked about and what I was feeling that week. And it's just really helpful to be able to remember what we talked about because I often do forget. So I highly recommend if you do have regular therapy sessions to have like a notebook. I find it to be really helpful, and I get a lot more out of therapy because of this notebook. So that, ooh, I think I twisted this up. That is this one. And then my last traveler's notebook is the regular size one. And currently, this is the only regular size traveler's notebook that I have. I did have one in the camel leather that I sold earlier this year because I wasn't really using it. This is the olive, and it's very similar to the brown, as you can see. The leather has a very similar texture. The colors are slightly different. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this is definitely more of a warm brown. This does have like a very slight green tint to it, but it's not that green considering that it's supposed to be olive. I would say it's a lot more brown than green. But I do like it, and this is also one that I think tends to get dry, so I like to use a leather moisturizer on it. In fact, let me see if I have for you the leather moisturizer that I use, if I can find it. Yeah, so I use this Galen leather balm, and just like a soft like cloth like that to just moisturize it, like however often I feel like, every few weeks when I feel like it's getting a little dry. I find that keeps the leather a lot nicer. This is a little charm I got on Etsy, Goddess Isis. And then for this one, I actually have the olive canvas like pocket thing that Travelers Company came out with a few years ago, which they don't unfortunately make anymore. You can buy them like secondhand now, but I got them while they still had them at Travelers Company, and it's nice because it matches the leather really perfectly, and it's just really well made. You can keep a lot of things in the pockets. So I have like these date stickers in here, the different days of the month. This I use for memory keeping. I use it sort of like a scrapbook, just to memories of my kids, memories of things that we did. I do have a little pencil board in here. This is the one from last year. I don't know how much of this I can show you because I really don't like to show my kids on my YouTube channel, but I can show you the cover page. So I did a little cover page, 2024 memory keeping. Right. Oh, this was just me with my Techo Kaigi, which started out with 5 notebooks. I don't know how I ended up with 10, but here we are. Life happens. Can I show you that? I want to show you my kids, but oh yeah, these are like my pocket notebooks. This is when we adopted our newest kitten, Sprite. He's an absolute sweetheart. That's him. This is when we went to Brooklyn Nets basketball game at Barclays Center. Yeah, it's just like, what else can I show you without showing you my kids? So like I put maps in here. We went to Philadelphia in the winter and like put a map of that in here. Like when we travel, I put things in. We went to Montreal for the solar eclipse. So I just cut and pasted that map in here. It's just a messy scrapbook, and I don't really particularly care about it being aesthetic or anything. It's just a way for me to remember some of the fun things that we did. And mostly I just like put in pictures of the kids and stuff and birthday parties and things like that. So that's what I've been using this for memory keeping. And I'm really enjoying it. I did try for a short time last year to use a traveler's notebook as a planner, and it didn't really work that well. I find it's better for things like memory keeping and traveling and stuff like that. So that's what I'm using this for. Okay, so the next thing that I have is this Midori 5-year diary, which I still have in the box that it came in, and it looks like this. Beautiful cloth bound, red. uh, notebook with like gold etching on it, 5-year diary. And I have been using this to um, just do some memory keeping about my kids. So it's meant to go for 5 years. I started it this year, 2024. Ideally, it will go through 2028. Is that right? Yeah. Um, and each day is like broken down for like 5 years. So I don't know if I can actually show you what I've written in here because it's like about my kids, but you get the idea. It's just it's a notebook where you have like a paragraph you can write each day for 5 years, and cute little drawings for each month. I was doing a really great job filling this out daily, like through March. And then around April, I really fell off and I haven't been able to get back into a routine. Like you can see on May 31st, I didn't write anything, and like I skipped a bunch of days in the spring. I got really busy in my garden and kind of fell off on my daily journaling routine. So I don't know if I'm going to get back into it now that it's getting really hot and I am not spending as much time in my garden. I'm hoping that I'll get really back into having a daily journaling habit, but I've got my workout cut out for me because I feel like I was doing so well in the first quarter of the year, and now I've just gotten really lazy about it. So we'll see. But I still like having this, and I will keep this for 5 years. And whatever I fill in, I fill in. It'll still be nice to look back on it 5 years from now and have those memories of the kids. Like when, my youngest son lost his first tooth, which was earlier this year, I wrote it down. And when my older son got his black belt in Taekwondo, and I wrote that down, and cool stuff like that. Just things that you want to remember. So that's what I'm using this for. Yeah, it's very cute, and I like that it's so like well made and like stitched together, and so it'll just be a really nice keepsake one day. The next category of notebooks are my rings planners, and I have two of them. I have a personal size Filofax, and I have an A5 size Moterm. So I'll start with this. This is my daily planner, my everyday planner, my everyday carry. I take this to and from the office. Basically, this never leaves my side. It's my ride or die planner. And I did a whole video on how I set up this planner, which ended up being like my most watched video on my channel, which I was not expecting. So thank you for that, I guess. And I love this. I love this planner. It's the Lockwood planner from Filofax in the cognac leather, personal size. And I can't show you a lot of this because there's so much personal information in my planner, but I can kind of show you, the basics of how it's set up. I have basically four sections. So the first section, which I call schedule, is my weekly calendar. And for this, I use the Filofax inserts. So I'll show you like a blank. Here's a blank one, right? So it's a week on 2 pages. So it starts on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you get like a little block of space for each day of the week. And I like that the weekends are the same size as the weekdays, because for me, as a mom of 2 kids, my weekends are as busy as my weekdays. In fact, sometimes they're more busy than my weekdays. So I need the same amount of space. And so that's the layout for the weekly agenda. And then I have section 2, which is my daily agenda, my daily pages. I call it work. That's what the cover page says, because I mostly use this for work. But lately, actually, because my weekends have been so busy, I've actually been using these pages on the weekends too. So I created these inserts using a Paper Test Designs template that I bought and downloaded, and I just printed out and cut out these inserts myself. And it's been working out really well. There's space on this side for like appointments from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then there's like these 2 sort of checkbox areas where you can put your task. And the way that I've been doing it is I've been doing work task on the top half, personal task down here. Then these little blocks I've been using to kind of keep track of what I'm eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Although lately I have been using an app to track what I eat. So I've been using this section a little bit less lately. But I still find it nice to have. And yeah, these are really nice daily pages, and I like the way they look, and they're very easy on the eyes. So it's been going really well with this. This third section is where I keep my work notes, which is really good because I work hybrid. So sometimes I'm working from home, sometimes I'm working in the office, and it's nice to always have my work notes with me so I can refer back to them. And then the last section is where I keep my personal notes. And this is mostly like checklists and things. For example, here is my gardening task checklist that's endlessly long. And these are all the gardening projects that I, wanted to do this year. As you can see, I have done quite a few of them, and I still have some left. I've just been super, super busy in the garden. There's more on the back. This is where I don't want to show you all of them, but some of the other like kid and family related task that I've had this year. What else? Oh, this is where I've kept a list of the YouTube videos that I want to film. So as you can see, bottom of the list, mid-year Techo Kaigi. I can finally check that off as something that I'm filming. I also have on here July garden tour, which I still need to do, but I have to weed my garden and mow the lawn before I do that. So this is where I keep track of that. These checklists are from Filofax on really nice cream paper. I like them. This is where I've been keeping a list of my cottage garden flowers that I have in my garden, and then things that I still want. This is like my ideal list of flowers that I'd like to have in the garden one day. I did a summer bucket list. That's been really fun. I tend to not like summer that much, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm really a fall person, and I find summer to be a little too hot and overstimulating. So this year I'm like, I'm really going to get into a mindset where I force myself to enjoy summer. So one way of doing that is I've been doing this like bucket list of things that I want to do, to look forward to. And that's helped me actually to make summer a little more enjoyable. So like on my list, make ice cream. I might do that this weekend. We actually have an ice cream maker, so that'll be fun. House projects wish list. You get the idea. I just like always have a random list of things in here. What else? I have pictures of my kids that I don't necessarily want to show you, but there's my kitties. And yeah, that is my personal planner. I use a brown pen with it because I really enjoy brown ink. This is the Uniball Signo, I think it's the 0.38 millimeter gel pen, and it's in black brown. Love the black brown color. Looks really nice on the cream paper. And it just seems to really work for this very brown themed planner. And then the other rings notebook that I have, I use less frequently. It's more of like a resource. So this is, and I did a video about this when I set this up. This is like my, I want to call it like the household manual. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the instruction manual for our family and our house, basically. And I didn't ever used to have something like this. And now that I have one, I see it as a really indispensable resource because it's just so nice to have all this important information in one place. So while it is full of personal stuff that I can't show you, I can at least show you how I've set it up. This is the Moterm A5 Luxe planner, which is absolutely gorgeous. Veg tan leather. Love it, love it, love it. It was a splurge, but it was like awesome, and I think it'll last me forever, and I'm really happy with it. So I did a little cover page. This is just the year. I have some little motivational cards on here, but basically there are 6 sections in here. And the first section is like health and medical, right? And so I have these little cover pages that I bought on Etsy. And in each section, I have a table of contents, which is so nice to just help me remember at a glance what I actually put in here. So for this one, I have all of our emergency information, like who to contact in the event of an emergency, all of our doctor's information for every member of the family, insurance information, family profiles. This is where we put like what allergies people have, what medications we're on, just like things that are good to know about people. And then medical log is where I've been keeping track of our doctor's appointments, just like so I remember, okay, did everybody go to the dentist this year? Did everybody get their annual physical? Did everybody get a flu shot? Because sometimes I forget, and it's just good to be able to keep track of all that stuff here. So again, a lot of personal information. I'm not going to flip you through the pages, but I'll take you to the next section, which is home and car. Home and car, again, these are little dashboards that I bought on Etsy. Table of contents, by the way, I designed these table of contents off of a Canva template. Very, very easy to do. So in this, I have home info, everything about our house and the deed to our house and blah, 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 when we purchased it, mortgage, our mortgage and tax information, utilities and services. I have like the names of all of our utility companies and like numbers, phone numbers, and so on. Appliances, this is where I've just been keeping track of the make and model of our different household appliances and whether they're still under warranty. Home insurance, where I just wrote down all the information about our home insurance policy. And then home maintenance is where I've been keeping track of like when we do things around our house. Like recently, my husband cleaned all of the air conditioning filters, right? So I would keep track of that just so I remember, oh, we did this X number of months ago, maybe we should do it again, you know? Or I don't know, like we have to get our oil tank filled because we have like an old fashioned oil boiler in our basement. So things like that. Home projects, this is where I'm hoping to sort of keep track of like random DIY projects that we do around the house and like, you know, when we did it, what we did, what the budget was, what we purchased, because my husband is really into DIY stuff. He's actually really good at it. So, but it's nice to keep track of it here and at least have like a budget for it. Vehicle info, our like license plate number and our car insurance and all of that information's here. And then vehicle maintenance, same thing, right? When did we get our car inspected? When did we get an oil change? When did we get new tires? Just really good to keep a log of that in here. So yeah, this is a really, really helpful section. And I'm so surprised that I managed to go like 40 years without having something like this. And now it just feels like indispensable to have like all of that information in one place. Kids, this is the kids section. So what do I have in here? I have school contacts, you know, like the contact information for their teachers and coaches and counselors and stuff, extracurricular contacts, right? Who's your piano teacher? Who's their basketball coach? Blah, blah, blah. Babysitter contacts, kids accounts. This is such a 2024 thing, but like my kids have Gmail accounts and they have Google Classroom accounts and they have Roblox accounts. And I don't even know all the accounts they have. And I lost track of everything they had. So I had to like write it all down with their passwords and stuff and make sure everything had like, you know, like the parental controls set up properly and all of that. So thankfully I finally got all of that in order and I have it all in here. And then their weekly activity schedule, because my kids are so overscheduled. I have to keep a little weekly calendar to just remember like, okay, this is when we have chess. This is when we have swimming. This is when, you know, so that is in here. Pets and plants. So, and I guess I can show you this. This is not particularly sensitive information. I keep my pet profiles, plant profiles, and my pet sitter contacts in here. So like, ta-da, there's Skipper, my firstborn cat, you know, and we have like when we adopted him, although, you know, I tell him that I birthed him because he's my baby, you know, and then stuff about like when we took him to the vet and stuff, and the same with Sprite, who is our newest baby. He's our kitten that we got in January. Information about him. What else do I keep in here? I keep stuff about my plants, which I need to do a better job of actually keeping track of my house plants. And like, you know, the light conditions and water conditions that they need to thrive. I have like, I don't know, 7 or 8 house plants. So stuff like that. I keep my pet sitter contact in here. My pet sitter will also water my plants if we're away for a long time. So that's why this is kind of useful too. So travel section. We do a fair amount of traveling. So this is really good to have. I keep our passport information in here in case, God forbid, we were to lose our passports. At least I would have like our passport numbers and stuff like that in here, or a copy of the passport in here. Global entry information, and then packing lists. These packing lists are so great. Let me see if I can show you an example of what I do for a packing list. Yeah, so like this is mine. This is my packing list. As you can see, it's long, but it fits on one page. And it, yeah, literally like every single thing that I would need to take with me on a trip, including all the things I have to do before I leave the house, like water my plants, lock my windows, turn down the thermostat, empty the fridge, take out the garbage, right? It's just so good to have a checklist when you're traveling, and then you're never going to forget anything. And the last section is meals. And I was using this a lot more when I was on my diet, but I was keeping track of portion sizes, serving sizes, little cheat sheets like that. But what's really great is there's a section in here for recipes. And I found these like recipe card templates on Canva where I was like, for a while, I was really good about writing down recipes and things in here. Lately, I've gotten lazy and I've just started printing out recipes off the internet, but it would be nice if I got back to doing this where I'm actually writing it out, because sometimes I make little changes or I customize a recipe. So it's nice to have that. So that is, yeah, that's it. This is what I would call my household and family manual. And it's been really great. It's been really, really useful. And while it's not something that I have to use every day, it's good to have it for when I need it. And I just have to remind myself to keep it up to date. But it's pretty great. Okay, this is my gardening journal. It is A6 Stalogy with a little Galen leather cover. And there are 4 sections: my plants, garden log, resources, and wish list. So I find it really, really useful to keep a gardening journal because I forget what I've done in the garden and I forget what I planted in the garden. So I actually end up using this quite a bit. But so what I tried to do, and I need to update this, is just keep track of everything that I've planted in my garden and try to even put like a picture of it in here, which, as you can see, I need to really to go back and update this. But, you know, like here's an example of like one of my rose bushes, my gladiolas. So I just take little pictures and I write, you know, like what I planted, when I planted it, where I got it. And the most important thing is like, when does it bloom? The bloom season, right? What are the light conditions that it needs? Wish I had better examples to show you. I really like need to update this, but you get the idea. I just like keep track of what I planted and when I planted it. Then the garden log is where I write down like what I did in the garden on a particular day. And I try to remember to do this each time I'm out working in the garden. Sometimes I forget. But it's so useful. So I put the date, I usually put the weather, and I put what plants are in bloom on that particular day. And then like, what did I do? Did I weed? Did I rake? Did I mow the lawn? Did I plant something? Like, you know, did I transplant something? What did I do? And this just helps me remember. And what's been really great is that at the end of the season, I can look back at my notes to see what was blooming on what day and kind of map out like what generally blooms in my garden. I'll give you an example. So I did that last year. So I looked back at 2023, at the end of 2023, and that, you know, my gardening season is basically 6 months, right? It's April, May, June, July, August, September. Although there are things that will be in bloom still in October and November for sure. So I could probably extend this a little bit. And then I went and I wrote down what exactly was blooming in my garden during those months. I looked back at my notes to see what was blooming. And, from this I can see I didn't have a lot blooming in July and August last year. So this year I tried to plant flowers, perennials that actually bloom in July and August to sort of fill in those gaps. Same with May. May was a little bit sparse as well. So, this is really, really helpful if you're trying to have like 6 months of color in your garden to kind of see like how to plan a perennial garden. What else? Yeah, I keep a wish list in here of like things I want to buy for my garden. It was for a while I was actually keeping track of what I bought and how much I spent. So in the spring, I did a lot. As you can see, I purchased a lot of flowers in March. So I was keeping track of those. So yeah, I need to get back into using this notebook more regularly, but it is a really, really good resource for keeping track of what you do in the garden, especially if you tend to forget what you've planted, which I do. We're down to my last 3 notebooks. And they are all in these beautiful Moterm covers. I wanted to just show you guys because I think they look so pretty in these Moterm covers. Just getting into darker shades as you go along. A5, B6, and A6. And they look so pretty. They're like a little set. Anyway, let me show you this one first. This is it's supposed to be basically my daily diary. It's a Hobonichi Techo, the A6 size. And I was doing a great job at the beginning of the year of writing in it every single day. And then I completely fell off starting again in April when I just started spending all of my time in my garden. And yeah, just wasn't able to keep up. So I don't know how much of this I can show you, but every month I decorate like the monthly page. And I have this little pencil board in here, but you get the idea. It's just, every day there's like the date and X amount of space. I never pay any attention to these times because I don't use this as a planner or agenda or anything. I just use it as a diary. I usually put some stickers and things and I write a little bit about my day. As you can see, I didn't feel like writing a lot on this day, so I just put a lot of stickers and I only wrote about half a page worth. So no pressure, but I skip plenty of days, as you can see. Haven't been doing an amazing job at keeping up, but I decorate with little stickers and washies and just write about my day. It's a diary basically. And while I would love it if I had filled out every single page, it's okay that I didn't. And on the days that I'm particularly lazy, sometimes I just like put a sticker down. Like there's a sticker. That's the vibe that I was feeling on that day. Very like beachy vibe. So, and that's fine. Pretty self-explanatory. I do think that the Hobonichi Techo is great as a diary because you get 1 day per page. It's not an overwhelming amount of space with an A6 notebook, so it's not that hard to fill out, and yeah, it's a great paper. It's really nice to use as a diary. And I don't really use the monthly calendar in here anymore. I did in the beginning, but now I don't really fill out my monthly calendars anymore. Yeah. So that one's that. This is a Stalogy B6. I love a B6 size notebook. I wish more companies made B6 size notebooks because they are just such a great size. Such a great size. It's like the size of a paperback novel, kind of, a little bit. It's just a perfect size. Plenty of space to write. This has a 5mm grid, I believe. Nice paper. I use this as a creative writing journal and have not been using it as much as I thought I would. But it's nice to have for when I just get random ideas in my head and I'm pretending that I'm a writer, which I'm not. And it's just fun to sit here and scribble like ideas for stories if I ever have the inclination to actually try and actually write something. It's just a fun little outlet for creative writing. Like I do little character sketches or little plot sketches. Maybe one day when my kids are older and I have time, I will actually write a short story. Who knows? Or not. Or I'll just have fun with this notebook. I enjoy having it. And while I don't use it as much as I thought I would, um, I like the idea of having a creative writing journal. And then finally, my very last notebook, this is a Stalogy A5. I love this notebook, even though it's a little bigger than what I like. I think the A5 size is kind of huge and not the most portable, but the reason I love the A5 Stalogy is because it has a 4mm grid as opposed to a 5mm grid. And I love the 4mm grid. It's just the perfect size for me. I write with like a very fine pen, and yeah, I just like I like a small grid. This is a scratch notebook. As you can see, I literally have been trying out pens in here. I've been swatching markers in here. Just been doing whatever I want in here. It's like a junk notebook. And I love having it because it's like no pressure. I can grab it and doodle in it or do whatever I want in here. And not worry about messing it up because that's literally what it's for. Yeah, so I try out all my pens in here. Random notes, random things. I do whatever I want to do in here. For a little while I was doing this. I was trying to plan out my YouTube videos, kind of like bullet journal style. And then I realized I'm not a bullet journaler. This is too much work. So that didn't last very long. This is me trying to teach my son how to write cursive letters because they don't teach cursive in schools anymore, which is a shame. So I was trying to teach him cursive. Yeah, it's just me goofing around. And there's a very big page here to be able to do that. So it's really nice for like swatching things because there's so much space. It's just a junk notebook. As somebody who likes pen and paper, I like to have a lot of notebooks. So that's all that is. So that's everything. Let's see. Let's stack them all up. This enormous stack of notebooks. I don't even know where to put them. Da, da, da. Here we go. Stack them up. And if you're still watching this, you're amazing. Thank you for still being here. And there's that precarious stack of notebooks. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.